I transmigrated into a CEO romance novel as an NPC unwilling to accept my fate. I tried every way possible to make money. I sold condoms when the male lead needed a room, and medicine when the female lead had a stomach ache. I made a killing, but the female lead started looking at me strangely. The plot began to veer off course, seeing that things were going south. I prepared to make a run for it, but the female lead with red-rimmed eyes stopped me. Can you bear to watch me marry someone else? Chapter 1. I transmigrated into a flower vendor in a CEO romance novel. According to the plot, I was supposed to sell flowers to the male lead. Then he would confess to the female lead, and my mission would be complete. But the stupid author had no common sense selling flowers in front of an office building. Who would buy them? Those people are busy all day. How would they have the time or inclination to buy flowers? So I started selling grilled sausages. And guess what? Business boomed shalong groups. Working hours are 9 to 6 and 3 to 4 p.m. is precisely when everyone is tired and sluggish. I took out my phone and asked in the company group chat, I'm buying coffee. Anyone want me to bring them a cup? Everyone signed up, and then I would add, want a grilled sausage? They're delicious after saying that orders would flood in. I turned on the gas canister, poured oil with my left hand, and sliced the sausages with my right 20 at a time. My hands a blur as the second batch of sausages cooked. I pulled out a thermos from under the food card, 250 milliliters of boiling water, and 3 packets of instant coffee is the secret to a strong cup. The last cup of coffee was for the female lead of the book Sue Man Knock Knock Knock. Come in, President Sue. Your coffee. Anyone who could become a CEO is a ruthless capitalist, and Sue Man is known as a particularly demanding businesswoman all about efficiency and showing no mercy. Even the Grim Reaper would have to prepare a 10-page PowerPoint before. Leaving her office, this wasn't a place to linger. I put down the coffee and turned to run. Wait. I stiffly turned around and rubbed my hands. Is there something else, President Sue? She was tall and imposing, with a sharp gaze, folding her arms. She took a step forward, an aura of dominance washing over me. Which department are you from? Sweat immediately broke out on my forehead. I can only make something up. Sales department. I'd been undercover in the company group chat for 3 months without being discovered. Could I really capsize in the gutter today? She raised an eyebrow slightly. What's your name? Xiaodong, that name is too casual, like something a tea vendor would use. The tea egg vendor is called Ladawa. That's my real colleague. The sales department is quite large. Anyone I recognize by sight is generally quick-witted and ambitious. Congratulations, you've successfully caught my attention. Swan picked up the phone and said something, and a young woman in professional attire led me to our reception room. Take a look at this contract if there's no problem. Sign your name in the bottom left corner. What was going on? I was happily selling sausages. Why should I be a workhorse for them, are all CEOs? This domineering, I'm a grilled sausage sales champion. I don't care about your paltry salary. I leaned back on the sofa and said, Dismiss, how much do you pay for being your president's assistant per month? 2,000 during the trial period, 25,000 after conversion. My jaw dropped. How little Chapter 2 steal less? 8,000 disbelief was written all over Goo's face. What flour is so expensive, and why are you a sausage vendor selling flowers? This is H couture. Understand? Arabica high altitude. Wild Rose Go-I was completely taken in. ABA isn't that coffee. You're a layman. This rose is a faint coffee. Aroma smell. It Go-I nodded doubtfully. H, there is a faint coffee smell, but the sausage smell seems stronger. This was originally prepared for President Yuan. If it weren't for her last-minute change of plans, you wouldn't have this opportunity. You're getting a bargain today. Go-I looked at his watch. The flower shops were closed at this hour, so he paid. Albeit with some skepticism after sending off this sucker, I packed up my stall, a single transaction profit of 7,920. Happy. Another fulfilling day. The next morning, I went to work full of energy. Passing by the break room, I heard everyone gossiping about the new hire, a connection, And apparently the president's kept man asterisk glug 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 asterisk I took out my oversized water bottle and filled it with half the water from the water dispenser. The company's water is free, so why not? I'm on good terms with almost everyone in the group and they don't hold back around me. I naturally joined their conversation. Huh, the president has that kind of taste. It's true. HR spilled the beans. Zia Wong lowered her voice conspiratorially. TSK Go I from Goo Group just confessed to her yesterday, and today she hires a pretty boy as her assistant. What a move. Wait, assistant. My eye twitched. Aren't they talking about me? As soon as Goo I was mentioned, they went into a swoon. Mr. Goo is so great, young, successful, and handsome. Yeah, a few younger girls frowned, feeling sorry for Go I. Just then, light footsteps sounded at the door, and they quickly exchanged glances, tacitly changing the subject as I stepped into the president's office with my large water bottle. The group behind me immediately erupted. Suman wasn't there today. Only the bouquet of roses on the boss's desk continued to emit a sausage aroma. The first thing I did upon entering the room was to plug in my 8,000 W outdoor power supply. The thought of using the company's electricity for the AC all night made me feel like I was already making a profit. I played landlord all day, but felt terrible because no one was buying my sausages. I posted the order form 5 times in the group chat and no one signed up clearly. Even though we're all cogs in the machine, I've now been classified into a different camp at 6 m sharp. My alarm went off and I clocked out and prepared to leave without a second's delay. Suman, walking with a brisk pace, blocked me at the door. Are you sick? Chapter 3. My head was full of question marks. Do hemorrhoids? Count Suman's face turned several shades of green and purple as if she'd swallowed a dead fly. She probably hadn't expected me to actually have a medical condition. She took a deep breath and typed grilled sausage into the WeChat search bar. Hundreds of related chat records popped up in the group, all sent by me asking every day if anyone wants grilled sausage and even starting a group by when no one replies. Have you never eaten grilled sausage in your life? Your current position is CEO's assistant. Not errand boy. Finally, she added, I thought you were quick-witted, but you're just a good-for-nothing. Good-for-nothing who is she calling that? My temper flared. I grabbed her wrist and pulled her outside. She snapped, What are you doing? Company employee? Stared, but she was no match for my strength. I drag her downstairs. No one's around now. Tell me, what do you want to do? Her face flushed slightly, and her tone softened. Probably afraid I'd do something drastic. I started the fire, poured the oil, expertly sliced the sausages and put them on the grill all in one smooth motion. I pinched a small amount of salt, my fingers trembling slightly, letting the grains rain down on the sausages like a gentle shower. Surprise you thought I was an A&, boy? But my hidden identity is actually a grilled sausage vendor. It was just after work and the employees of Deep Blue Group were streaming out of the office building. Swan covered her face with one hand. Stop grilling, please. I expertly flipped. The sausages? No way! Before work and after work are the 2 best times for sales. I'll give you 1,000. I'll buy all these sausages. Okay? Deal. I immediately turned off the heat and to Sue, man. Astonishment pulled out a large thermos and started. Making coffee, I'll give you 2. A 000 and forget the coffee too. Don, I took off running sparks flying from the wheels of my food cart. The leftover sausages can go into freezer and be sold tomorrow. Chapter 4. Hello. Here's your fruit platter. Suman looked up, saw me in a dark red, embossed vest and sprayed a mouthful of her cocktail, Xiaodoang. Are you on drugs? Didn't. I just transfer you too. Sirdo. I chuckled and flashed my employee ID. Don't talk nonsense. I'm a Gold Star employee. Hurry up and change your clothes. There are a lot of acquaintances here. If they see you, they'll think I'm withholding employee wages. Suman resignedly took out her phone and let me input the amount myself. She seemed to be in a bad mood, drinking alone after transferring myself 500. I tactfully retreated. 2 hours later, we met again in the underground parking lot. Boss Sue. We meet again. Sue Man's delicate. Body trembled, and she slowly raised her head. The alcohol seemingly wearing off. Xiaodu, how many other part-time jobs do you have that I don't know about? I smiled without answering, putting my folding bike in the truck. I had other orders and couldn't waste time. The drive was smooth, and I parked the car in the Galaxy Bay underground parking space. I helped her out of the car, looking down. I was directly facing her impressive chest. Wow, she was surprisingly well endowed. The tight hip-hugging, skirt perfectly outlined, breathtaking curves, just a glance, and my mind started to wander. She put her hand on my shoulder and, intentionally or not, kept blowing air in my ear, making me blush and sending a surge of heat straight to my lower abdomen. I secretly pinched myself hard. Starting price is $53.5 per kilometer total, $102.5 since we're acquaintances, just give me $200, we check cat or cash. Sue Man's face was flushed, her eyes hazy. Won't you come up and sit for a while? I wav, my hand righteously. That's an extra charge. Sue Man snorted with laughter and casually transferred me 10. I-0-0. My hands trembled as I pressed the confirm button. Boss, Sue, this isn't right. I'm still a virgin, Sue Man. Playfully scolded in your dreams. Get lost, just drive the car away. Leave it at the company tomorrow morning. What will you drive tomorrow? Sue Man paused, her face full of confusion. I don't just have this one car, all right. You all have money while I'm slaving away as a designated driver. Chapter 5. Sue Man sat in the meeting room silent, and Frosty Fade, the sales director, spitting. As he spoke, pointed at the sales managers' noses and roared, "Even a dog tied to the door knows how to guard the house. What about you? Are you blind? You didn't even know when a major client was poached. 3 days? You have 3 days to get the client back. Or pack your bags and get out." My fingers flew across the keyboard, recording his words. Verbatim in the meeting. Minutes, even a dog tied to the door. At some point, the sales director appeared behind me. Who taught you to take meeting minutes like this? Do you have any brains? What the heck? You're not even my boss. So why are you acting like a big shot before I could retort? Sue Man spoke. Are you telling my people how to do their job? Sue Man looked up at him, her expression cold. The sales director shuddered and bowed obsequiously. Mr. Sue, you misunderstand. I lost control of my emotions. I'm truly sorry. Truly sorry. 3 days. Remember your deadline. If it's not resolved in 3 days, you'll be the first to go. Sue Man's demeanor was remarkably calm, but each word landed like a bomb. The sales director was drenched in sweat. Everyone sat stiffly, drawing a sharp breath. Meeting adjourned. The crowd dispersed, looking at the meeting minutes. I couldn't help but sigh. This meeting was completely pointless. Something that could be summarized in 2 sentences was dragged out with a bunch of useless nonsense. He's one of the old guard from the family. He's deliberately trying to sabotage me and prevent me from becoming the company. Heir is this client. That important, very important. I could lose my inheritance over this. Yikes, hearing this. I couldn't help but clinch. If Sue Man lost her position, my 25. 000 a month job would be gone too. I'll help you. I looked directly into Sue Man's eyes, emphasizing each word. Sue Man raised an eyebrow and smiled. You wait and see. A small client piece of cake. Chapter 6. The entire sales department was swamped. On the first day, a smaller group was still trying to salvage the situation. On the second day, by the third day, everyone had given up and just lay flat at 300 p.m. when the clients were supposed to be signing a contract at Shen Loan Group. They were instead trailing behind me, sweating profusely under everyone's astonished gazes. I led the group to the CEO's office, where they signed the contract on the spot. The whole process took less than 10 minutes. The sales director's face was flush, crimson, his eyes bloodshot. What are they doing here? Shouldn't they be at Shenlong Group? They're here to sign a contract to partner with our company, aren't you? Happy? He wiped away his cold sweat. Of course I'm happy to partner with them. But contract renewals should go through me? Why did they go to the CEO's office? It's not a renewal, it's a brand new contract. I pinched his oily face, then immediately regretted it, wiping my hand on his shoulder, that his face was a shade darker than pig liver. He opened and closed his mouth, unable to utter a sound, a perfect picture of someone suffering in silence. He was the older executive's pawn, intending to take down Swan through self-sabotage. Now his scheme had backfired spectacularly. He would bear the responsibility for losing the clients. While the credit for the new contract had nothing to do with him, his large frame seemed to have lost its soul, collapsing onto the desk papers, scattered everywhere his meticulously maintained comb-over was now a mess. "Let's get out of here." I grabbed Sue's hand and ran. ISN stuck a glance at her despite being pulled along by her wrist in public. Once again, she wasn't angry, but smiling. Just as we stepped out of the building, we saw the people from Shenlong Group storming back into the company, looking furious. Chapter 7. The crowd downstairs grew larger and larger. Judging by the numbers, it looked like the entire New Dragon Group had mobilized at first. They were just shouting. But after a few agitated individuals joined the fray, the situation escalated into a brawl, mops, buckets, shoes. Anything that could be used as a weapon was the fight intensified, and finally someone showed up with a bucket of manure, upgrading the brawl to a dunk fight. The scene was, shall we say, spectacular? The worst hit was our sales director. He wasn't just suffering physical injuries, he was under magical attack as well. The poor guy was kneeling, on the ground covered in exer. His hair. "A mess, please, sir." "It wasn't me. It really wasn't. He was the obvious target. There was no way he would have let such a lucrative client go to New Dragon Group for free. He must have been taking kickbacks now that the client had switched sides at the last minute, leaving New Dragon Group out in the cold. They were taking their anger out on him. After a flurry of wild punches, our pitiful sales director, his dentures knocked out lace, sobbing in the muck. "What exactly did you do to make them?" So furious Sue man looked me up and down as if I were a criminal. Nothing much the night before. I slipped some laxatives into their water cooler, locked the bathroom doors, and bribed the security guards and cleaning staff to go on strike soon, people. In the group chat, started sharing videos. I'd advise against watching it. This video has a smell. Swan clicked on the video, hesitantly, immediately regretting it. She didn't touch her coffee or dessert. Again, the video was filmed in a conference room. In the middle of the partnership negotiations, there was a loud bang, and New Dragon sales manager erupted on the spot. The nearest client was sent sprawling after the sales manager fired the first shot. Others followed suit. Bang, 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 each bang was accompanied by a golden flower blooming on an employee's pants. In a matter of moments, flowers were everywhere, along with the wails of the afflicted. Chapter 8. After this incident, the sales director, both physically and mentally scarred, resigned. Taking responsibility, this marked the end of that battle for my significant contribution. In addition to the commission and bonus I was due, Swan also gave me a month of paid leave. Even though the surveillance footage was deleted that day, she still gave all the security guards and cleaners a hefty sum to keep quiet, saying she was afraid someone would retaliate against me. I'd been fighting an underground boxing ring since I was 18, so I wasn't afraid of retaliation. I suspected she mainly wanted a holiday for herself. I was selling hot dogs in the park when I saw SU and Goai walking side by side without a word. I abandoned my cart and secretly followed them with 2 walking ATMs together. I knew which one was more important. They chatted for a long time, mostly about the usual power struggles of the wealthy. My legs were numb from squatting behind a bench when they mentioned missing out on concert tickets. I sprang out, "Goo!" I tumbled backward, staring at me in shock. "Who are you, scalper?" I said, smiling enigmatically. Sue covered her face with one hand, pretending not to see me. Gooey looked me up and down, somewhat incredulous. "You can get tickets, absolutely, but the price, well, you know." I chuckled, squatting beside him and rubbing. My fingers together, Gooey pointed to the front row seats on his phone screen. "Right here. 2 tickets, all right, an extra 10. 000 per ticket, on top of the original price. We chat Alipay or card. I said, pulling a POS machine from my pocket. Goo's lips twitched. Do you think I'm stupid? One moment, please. I have a call. I pretended to answer a call, pacing back and forth in front. Of them, some people are all talk good at sweet-talking women, but when it comes to spending money, they fizzle out. You can't trust men like that. I pointed at my phone with a sly grin. Don't take it personally, I'm on the phone. Sue burst into laughter. Gabi's face turned several shades of green and white before he finally gritted out card chapter N. I have quite the fate with Goai, having just met him during the day. I ran into him again that night. He tossed his car keys to the valet and was about to enter the hotel with a girl. She was tall and thin with fox-like eyes and didn't look like a good person. She must be the book's second female lead. The mistress Lee F., according to the plot, Guy's relationship with Sue Man was a business. Scam Goai conspired with this woman to seize control of Sue Man's company, Deep Blue Ugg Scumbag. I turned to leave, but then I thought, money talks, Miss Goo? We meet again. Seeing me Goai almost, instinctively took a half step back. Why are you so persistent? Leah F. looked me up and down with disdain. Honey, is this a friend of yours? I have no friends. Like this? Leah F. sneered. I knew it. How could you be friends with someone so shabby? I ignored her insults. Making money was more important. I grinned and pulled Gooey's side. I have something you'll definitely like. Really? Goai raised an eyebrow and gestured for Lee FF to go ahead, but she clung to his arm. Like glue, refusing to let go in that case. Excuse me. I flung open my trench coat. On the left were various types of adult toys, and on the right, colorful condoms, a selection better than any. Supermarket. Leah FF, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, yelped and jumped back, but she immediately regretted it and ran back, cleaning to Goo's arm and giving it a playful squeeze. You're so bad. Lee F pretended to be shy, covered her face, and ran into the hotel. Talk about professional. That was damn professional. Translated that little scene, Mitt. I'll go up first and get clean waiting for you. Hurry up. Goai, who had been relatively composed, was now slightly flushed after her teasing. I don't like using off-brands. I have name brands too. 001, 002, 003. Hyaluronic acid, which kind do you want? I pulled out the hidden stash from my trench coat. Gooey coughed, clenching his fist. 001. Naturally. Money changed hands, and after receiving the condom, he jogged into the hotel. He didn't know, but I predicted his prediction. I'd poke holes in all the 01s. Huh? Two timing. Jerk chapter 10 on the last day of my vacation. Sue Man messaged me. Where are you? She's my sugar mama. So I didn't dare slack. Off and replied instantly. Eating at a buffet. Sue Man turned around. I shoved a spoonful of caviar in my mouth and turned to see Suman sitting in the distance. She wore a silk dress, the neckline revealing her snow-white collarbone, sexy and domineering. I put down my tray and crouched beside Suman's staff. Get fined for sitting on the customer sofas. I cautiously glanced around and, using Suman's body as cover, grabbed the juice on the table and took a big gulp. The caviar was way too salty, even a dog wouldn't eat it. I'll give you money. Can you quit your part-time job? Suman's tone today was soft, completely lacking her usual CEO aura. She clutched her stomach, her face pale, and beads of sweat dotted her forehead. Even now she was worried about her worker. Seeing her symptoms, I immediately understood. Don't worry, take this. Swan looked at the sanitary pad in her hand and glared at me. I have a stomach ache. Don't worry. I have stomach medicine too. I pulled 2 pills from my vest pocket and handed them to her without a second thought. Swan tossed the pills in her mouth and washed them down with the rest of my juice. This action surprised me. Swan usually wouldn't tolerate a single wrinkle on her clothes, and her work ethic was meticulous. To the point of nitpicking, I thought she had severe OCD after taking the medicine. Sue Man's complexion improved slightly, leaning back on the sofa. She sighed. Are you Dorman? Tell me what else is in your pocket. I patted my pocket and pulled out a Bister pack of hangover pills. People who attended these kinds of banquets were rich and powerful. 9 out of 10 CEOs had stomach problems. I had prepared these 3 essentials before heading out thinking I could rip off these evil capitalists. Name your price. I scratched my head and jokingly said what was on my mind. You dare to take the medicine I gave you without even looking. Just for that, I can't bring myself to charge you. Suman turned to look at me, a slight smile playing on her. Lips, don't be so polite with me. I tip male models 8888 and up. How much these evil capitalists, they don't deserve any pity. I grabbed Suman's phone and expertly transferred 88888 to myself, feeling spiteful. I transferred another 8888. I'll make you a popper. Sooner or later. I took out my phone. But before I could hit send, Suman suddenly grabbed my wrist. Chapter 11. What name do you have me saved? Under the familiar icy tone returned to his voice, and I couldn't help but shudder. Suman glared at me, pulled out her phone and dialed. 2 seconds later, the words female demon head appeared on my phone screen again. Sweat instantly trickled down my forehead. Let me explain. He crossed his arms and snorted coldly. I'd like to hear your explanation. I coughed lightly, clenching my fist. The female means beautiful woman. Demon refers to your devilish figurehead, is easy to understand. It means leader boss, the head honcho. I glanced at Suman, and she was actually stifling a laugh. I immediately felt relieved. She's my benefactor. I can't afford to offend her hungry. I'll treat you to dinner saying that Suman tossed me the Bentley's keys. Wow, last time it was a Cullen. In this time, a Bentley does the wind just blow money at you capitalists. 40 minutes later, I stood in front of Suman's refrigerator lost in thought. You said you'd treat me to dinner. Where's the food? The empty refrigerator contained nothing but 2 bottles. I picked up the tall glass bottles and examined them carefully for a moment before realizing I was overthinking it. There wasn't even any alcohol, just 2 bottles of some unknown mineral water, absolutely stunning. Suman looked a little embarrassed. I don't usually eat at home. I must have misremembered. I collapsed onto the sofa. Let's order takeout. Then Swan forced an awkward smile. Takeout isn't allowed in the complex. Great, you rich people are all fairies living on air. Another 40 minutes passed and I returned holding a case of beer in my left hand and 2 bowls of snail noodles in my right, staring at the strange-smelling contents of the bowls. Suman frowned. What is this snail noodles? It smells bad but tastes good. Try it. I handed her the chopsticks. She took a sip of beer and shook her head. You capitalists are so detached from the lives of the common people. You know, fine. Don't eat it. Then more for me. I was halfway through the first bowl when I went to the balcony to answer a phone call. When I returned, there were only 2 empty bowls. Suman walked past me with a mop, nonchalantly saying, My bad. I accidentally spilled your dinner before lying. You should probably wipe the chili oil off your mouth. Chapter 12. Son, find me your most handsome picture. Now. Immediately, right? This second I just gotten home when I received this frantic voice message from my mom. I scrolled through my photos and sent her a shirtless Jai selfie showing off my abs. The reply was almost instantaneous. Had my mom become a phone was I was about to marvel at her speed when I saw R of exclamation points from Susan. Susan. Me. Sorry. Wrong person. I quickly retracted the message and resent it to my mom. As soon as I did, she sent me 3 60-second voice messages. Despite her slow typing, she's a fast talker. I figured it wasn't going to be pleasant, so I left them unopened, seeing I hadn't replied. My mom called. I prefer texting over voice messages and voice messages over calls. But my mom's the opposite. It's like her WeChat doesn't have a keyboard. She never texts. I took a deep breath and answered. My mom's roar erupted from the phone. Are you out of your mind? I asked for your most handsome picture, and you sent me that 6-pack abs. Isn't that handsome enough? I couldn't send a nude. Are you brain dead? Your Aunt Jang is setting you up on a blind date. First impressions matter. You know, sending a shirtless photo. What's the meaning of this? Are you some kind of street thug? Then what kind of picture should I send? Do you have a passport photo? That's more like it. I sent her the photo from my work ID, and she finally hung up. Satisfied, the next day, I just returned to my desk after lunch when my mom initiated a video call. I'm asking you, why didn't you accept Xia Xiao's friend request? A Jang introduced you. I glanced at Susan and lowered my voice. Mom, I'm not ready yet. Not ready. That kid Air Guzzy from your elementary school class already has kids of his own. Can you get with the program? How old are you? Do you want the Xiao family? We're not some prestigious family. I mumbled. My mom immediately bristled. Hey, you little brat. My dad pushed her aside and started his reasonable, persuasive routine. Son, don't be angry with your mom. Just listen to your dad. Good cop, bad cop, same goal, I'm used to it. Dad, don't say anymore. I'll add her a wave of fragrance washed over me. Susan had appeared behind me without me noticing. She placed her hand on my shoulder, drawing circles with her finger. Are you coming to my place tonight, huh? Don't leave me hanging. I just ate some snail noodles at your place, and I even PID for it myself. I was about to explain. When she pinched my side hard, her grip was as strong, if not stronger, than the factory's bolt tightening. Ladies, the video call froze for 3 seconds, absorbing this unexpected development. Then my mom shrieked with delight. Old man, come quick, both. My parents put on their glasses while Susan greeted them cheerfully. Hello, Uncle and Aunt, I'm Susan. My parents beamed. Hello, hello, hello. The three of them chatted away like old friends, leaving me feeling like an outsider upon learning Susan was my boss. They shifted gears. This boy has always been a handful. If he doesn't behave, you just hit him. Don't spoil him. Susan chuckled. Okay. I'll remember that. After the call, I quickly backpedal. Don't listen to their nonsense. I've always been. Obedient and physically punishing employees is illegal. We can't do anything illegal. Susan's lips curved into a smile. We'll see how you behave. Was it my imagination, or was this getting a little flirty? I looked up into her eyes, and they were full of amusement, a rare tenderness. Sue, are you hitting on me? What did you call me? Susan's eyes widened as she pointed at me. Sue, you ruined my blind date. You have to take responsibility. Susan blushed, coughed, and made a fist. You have to call me Mr. Sue at work. Oh, I understand. Understand what Sue in private. Mr. Sue at work. I get it. You. I lifted my shirt in front of the mirror. The spot where she pinched me was bright red. I glanced at Susan, and she was staring at my abs, swallowing hard, realizing she'd been caught. Her gaze darted around, and she coughed to cover her embarrassment. Put your shirt back on. It's not appropriate for others to see. I understand. Only you can see. Susan stamped her foot, her ears turning pink. I was momentarily stunned. This was the first time I'd seen her so girlish. Chapter 13. After that incident, my parents never pressured me to go on blind dates again. Instead, they constantly mailed local specialties to my company, a treatment I'd never experienced since starting my career after graduation. Every time they asked, son, what are you doing? It was always followed by, how's Sue Man every weekend? They come up with different delicious meals to lure me home, but it always came with, remember to bring Sue Man with you. I knew what they were thinking, but the main storyline wasn't supposed to go this way, only by being with the male lead. Could the plot move forward? After all, I still had a huge conspiracy waiting. To be implemented a week later, news of Sue Man and Gu Ai's engagement spread like wildfire through the company I was playing. Du at my desk when Sue Man arms crossed, and a slight smile playing on her lips said, I'm getting engaged to Gooey Don't. You have anything to say to me? I'll help scatter flower petals at your wedding. This answer seemed to be unexpected. Sue Man's body trembled violently, and her playful smile vanished. Can you bear to watch me marry someone else? Her eyes rend slightly, and she slammed the door behind her. No, wait till I finish their engagement, happened at lightning speed, and after that, Swan successfully secured her position as the ergoai, as if he had sense. Something suddenly proposed a group merger plan and, even more absurdly, Sue Man agreed under the guise of business adjustments. Her several scheming uncles were all removed from power. It was all messed up, completely chaotic. Swan wasn't answering my calls or replying to my messages if this continued. Sue Man would lose control of Shin Lon before the mistress even had to lift a finger at Guy's inauguration ceremony. I held up a stack of photos of him and his mistress and yelled, "This man is a scumbag." I have proof. Chapter 14. The crowd erupted. Like a drop of water and hot oil, Goai charged towards me. Furious, my carefully laid honey trap had been completely disrupted, forcing me to resort to Plan B, mutually assured destruction. Even if I couldn't take him down, I could at least make his life hell. Wearing my most punchable expression, I challenged him. "Just try touching me. I will touch you. What are you going to do about it?" he roared, shoving me the moment his hand made contact. I collapsed dramatically, fighting death my hard accomplice. Immediately dropped to their knees, wailing murder, murder. My plan was to extort some money, then get up and continue the humiliation. Peeking through my eyelids, I spotted Sue Man in the crowd. Not only was she not angry, she was stifling a laugh. Silly woman. She doesn't even realize she's being played. And she still got the nerve to laugh in the end. Gooey was defeated by my shamelessness. After all, I could be shameless. But he couldn't. As soon as the 200 Yisuo in medical expenses hit my account, I miraculously resurrected and, armed with photos, began hawking my wares step right up. Take a look at this cheating couple. Before I could finish, Sue Man grabbed me from behind, clamping her hand over my mouth. And dragging me away in a deserted alley, she looped her arm through mine and said with a gentle smile, "Don't you have anything to say to me? Are you crazy? How could you sign that merger agreement? Now what I want to hear. Let me tell you. Goai is a real piece of work. If you don't take him down now, it'll be much harder later when he has more power. Also not what I want to hear." I sighed. "I figured out a while ago you had ulterior motives for me. Luckily I'm rich. I'll take care of you." Sue Man couldn't contain her grin any longer. Looks like that was the answer she was waiting for. Chapter 15. With the dust settled, Sue Man and I were together now that we were both unemployed. We decided to stay a bit longer at my parents' place. My mom, a simple country woman, is always busy. Every time Sue Man tried to help with chores, she'd tell her to go do her own thing, worried it would interfere with her making money lately, though Mom's been acting strangely. Sue Man had to sneak around and wash the dishes while Mom was in the bathroom. Otherwise, Mom would swoop in like a whirlwind, snatch the dishes away, and preemptively asked, "Are you pregnant? Why else would Mom be acting like this?" I secretly asked Sue, "Man, are you pregnant?" She shook her head, equally confused. "No." So while Mom was cooking, I snuck up to her. "Mom, you've been acting weird lately. Are you hiding something from me?" My mom looked around cautiously, and after making sure no one else was around, she told me the truth. Chapter 16. The scenery in Switzerland is so beautiful. Shall we go there? Sure, I saw online that it's the Great Migration in Africa. Now, why don't we go to Africa too? Sure, since we're trying for a baby, shouldn't we also change our house this time? Sue Man paused her scrolling on TikTok. Isn't my one 00 plus square meter apartment in Shinga Bay. Enough, a large flat is definitely not as good as a villa. If we move to a villa, the child can be closer to nature. We can get a big dog and plant some fruit trees. Max sense. I'll give my flat to my parents. They should upgrade their place too. Sue Man seemed to realize something, putting down her phone. Are you trying to trick me? Even though she's not the CEO anymore, she's still incredibly imposing. I couldn't lie and confessed everything. My mom accidentally saw a bank text message while cleaning the table. You have a N-digit number in your bank account. Sue Man tossed her phone to me. I counted, it wasn't 9 digits, it was 10. I sold the company to Go AI to ensure a smooth transition. We put on a show for everyone. It wasn't supposed to be this rushed, but his girlfriend unexpectedly got pregnant and was waiting to be made official, so we had to move the plan forward. That is indeed quite unexpected. So Faye wasn't a mistress at all. No one said she was mistress. She was the one who came up with the idea for this whole drama with Go-I losing the company was already upsetting enough, and I was afraid of hurting her pride, so I never asked about her savings. Now it seems I'm the one whose pride should be hurt even. With all my hard work, I don't even have a fraction of her savings. I sprawled out on the bed. I'm done. I'm not doing anything anymore. I'm going to be a kept man. Sue Man straddled me. Think you can just lie down. You haven't paid your dues for today yet. My eyes widened. Didn't we just do this yesterday? She kissed me fiercely from now on. It's once a day I'm crying. This is forced overtime without even having a job. She's such a cruel capitalist.